Hello everybody. It's wonderful to have you here. I'll show you how to utilize the free video editor Clipchamp today. Clipchamp can now be used in a variety of ways. You could install it for free on your Windows computer. I visit the Microsoft Store and download it. You can install it on Windows 10 or Windows 11 or simply log in online with your browser. So it doesn't matter whether you're using Microsoft Edge or Chrome. The experience is the same. I'm going to show you on the online version here today, but you could also use the app to follow along. There's so many great features that Clipchamp has built into it, and it's so easy to use. It's just drag and drop, very beginner friendly, and you can be creating some great looking videos. So whether you want to add filters like green screen with a couple clicks, making your edits, adding assets like other graphics or stock photo, all those things are available. So let's get started on how to use Clipchamp. We can create a new video. And at this point, if you are open from the app, you're gonna notice it's look the same. The first step that I'm gonna do is actually bring in my media to here right now. So the first step that you would need to do is bring in media to use. So when I say media, if you're new to this, that would be like your video, there'd be pictures like images or an audio. So whether that be music or recording your voice, something like that, that would need to be brought in to edit this video. Now going to point out on this side here, I have this folder called Clipchamp Media, and I downloaded a bunch of media from Pixabay, which is free. You can use stock video, and we have music and stock images here. I just want to point out though, the stock video that they have in here. In the free version, you don't get a lot. So if you're searching for something, you don't get a lot. If you see the diamond on it, that's going to be an upgrade. You have to pick the ones it says free. So you could, if you want to try some out. What you can do is you can go and pick one. If you're using the free one, I will go up here and I'm just gonna hit add. I can add to the media. And I can add to the timeline as well. If you don't have any video that you want to play with, just add to your media to begin with. I'm just gonna cancel out. And if I go to my media, you can see it there at 44 seconds. So if you want some video, you can do the same thing with our stock images as well to go through, and we do have some music here. Just make sure that you look for the free ones, and then you can add them. So I'm going to be uploading to my media, and you can see I have wanting to hear right now, so I could import from a number of different places. I could browse from files from my phone. I could go from OneDrive, Google Photos, and Dropbox as they change the accounts, and if it's only Microsoft, you're probably going to see some of these disappear in the next few months. But if I go browse from my computer, I have all these different ones in a folder on my desktop. If I hold down Control on my keyboard, I could select multiple ones. And then let's say I pick those 4 and hit open, and those are being brought in right now, preparing them so I could bring them to my timeline. Another way I could bring them in, if I just open up this folder again, I could just grab from here and drag in as well. I could actually bring in the whole folder if I wanted to do that too. So simple ways to bring your media. Just taking a quick glance, you can see this would be audio. You can see kind of the wave in the back here if I hover over it. Gives me a preview of what it sounds like. I have videos here and I have pictures. If I look up top, we have videos, audio, images, and it just goes through and it knows the differences. So I just want to look for all my videos, if I just wanted to look for all my audios and all my images like that. So that's how you import your media into Clipchamp. Here you can see your media isn't backed up, and this is important to understand. If you're using the online version like this, you do have to stay on the same computer. If you move computers, you won't have access to those files unless you upgrade and everything was backed up. So, if I switched over to my MacBook, I won't be able to have the same assets there. They won't be over on that computer. So I just wanted to point that out. If you are using the online version, you would have to be on the same computer each time if you're just using the free version. So what's the next step that I just want to point out? I just want to kind of give you a quick walk around here, what you're seeing. And it's very quick, because there are no hidden menus or anything on this at all. If I start down over on the left here, you can see this button right here brings me back. If I click on it, I can go back to home. You can see where you upgraded and everything. I'm under my free account. There are keyboard shortcuts and that, but I'm not going to go back right now. We have a record and create. This is where you can create your screen and camera. What I mentioned about, I'll create a different video on this later showing you how you can do both of those. We have our templates again where you can access. I've already showed you these. We can scroll down here and we have our transitions, graphics and text, and everything is just going to be drag and drop over on the right hand side. When we select our audio, we'll have some features that we can do with that. We have some features like fade we can add to audio or video. We have our filters, we can adjust colors, we can adjust our speed transition and color here as well. Now what I like to do first is when I start going to be thinking about, well, what is this for? So this is, let's just say you're going to be a YouTube video. And so the ratio, the aspect ratio I'd want would be this 16:9. But let's say you're making something for YouTube Shorts. Well, that would be different. That would be this one, or Instagram or TikTok. You'd use the 9:16 and then this one. Here we can see that would be for an Instagram post, and 1/4:5 gives you all the ratios. I'm using the 16:9 in this example. I'd like to title mine right away. So I'm just going to call this practice video, and we're going to be just making a number of edits as I show you all these different things. Alright, I'm going to move back to my media. I'm just moving up here and I'm going to start by bringing some media into the timeline and making some quick edits. I just want to point out, if we just go back like I showed you before, back to home now, and it says your files aren't synced to the cloud, then we can go ahead and continue with sync. If I scroll down right here, this practice video is what I just started, so it's already saved in here. And if I want to go, you see I have some options to make a copy or delete. If I just click on it again, it brings me back. So I just want to add that navigation point in. Okay, let's grab a video, and I'm going to grab this one. So I need to add this to my timeline down here to start my editing process up. I go up to this, I could hit the plus to add to timeline, or I could just drag it down. And so when I drag it down, it's giving me some tips here. I'll go over this in a bit with the fading here because again, this makes it super easy to use. If I go ahead and hit play, you can see right away there's no volume to this clip here, so I'm just going to just show you to play it. The way I like to play it actually is use my spacebar. So I hit my spacebar to stop and start. I just find it a little bit more quick rather than trying to get up to the play button all the time, and it helps when you're editing as well. So when I bring this clip in, I can drag it around very simply. I can actually move it around. I can move things to other layers once I bring in another video, and then I'll show you that in a moment. But I can zoom up on it. So if I zoom up, you can see it looks like it's getting longer. It's not really getting longer. It's just allowing come and seeing it broke into a time period where I could go frame to by frame a little easier. So then, if I hit to zoom to fit, it just fits in what I'm seeing across. And then as I move my playhead here, this bar. If I keep zooming up on it, then it allows me to get to an exact place a little bit easier when I'm zoomed up on it. So I just wanted to point out that feature, and then down at the very bottom, we have this bar. If it's reaching past what you can see, you can just move this bar by clicking and dragging on it with your mouse. So that's how we can bring some in. I'm going to zoom back out a bit so we can bring in multiple clips here. So if I go back up here and grab this second one, I could just place it in my timeline, so I could place it right next to it, or I could move it over. Remember, any gaps are going to be just come out as black. So if I go ahead and hit play, you can see the gap that happens there. I can place them together like so. And I can move this one, as I mentioned, into a top layer, and I can move it on top. But I'm going to show you that come back to this when we do some video transform our videos, to show how to use picture in some other techniques here even with green screen. So just moving on here, if you want any of these gone, we have our delete here, and we also have our undo, so we have our undo and redo here. So if you need to go back any steps, if you've made a mistake, you can go there. I can also hit the delete on my keyboard and it will go away. We can bring in images. So if I go up to images, images are part of the media, so I can place them next to video, and if I was previewing it goes from video to image, and I could place another video in if I wanted to go to audio. I could go grab an audio and place it. Usually, I'm going to place it below it, and if I bring it back, you'll be able to hear it like so, and I can move it around just like I moved the other ones. I can select multiple things that they have that green around it. So, if I grab my select tool and select both, now they're both moving at the same time. So just some little things about moving in your media into the timeline. I'm going to delete this for now and just leave this one. I'm just going to start from basic editing. If you're new to this to edit video, there's going to be 3 different ways that you can do this. You can edit, you can trim from the beginning, you can trim from the end, or you can split the clip. So if I select this clip, if I go to the beginning, I get these handles. If I want something taken from the beginning trimmed off, I can just click and hold and drag and it trims it from the beginning. And then on, I can also do it from the end. So if there's extra footage or you need to make it sure you can just drag from both ends, you can drag it back. You haven't did that deleted the source file or trimmed anything off of it, so if I drag it back, I can just put them back to how long I want to go. So very easy to take things off the ends. You can also take things out of the beginning, so I could go ahead and use my split tool, and since this is where my marker was there, it did a split, so I bring it and I click again, and now I have another split on this side. So now I could take this and change the order like so I can change the order all around, just by dragging things in, and instead I play it back and the order we change on how it's happening. So you can see how it's going back and forth there. You have your undo here. If there was a part that you just want to take it out of the middle, you could delete it and then push it back together. I'm going to go back a couple of steps here, and I just want to point out I showed you with trimming to I make it shorter. You can't bring it the other way, so I can't make more video. If this is a 9-second video, I could slow it down to make it longer, but I can't stretch it and add more there. Now that makes a difference with the picture. So if I go grab an image like so and bring it in, images are static, so I can grab it and have it play for as long as I want, just like that. So I can make it short or long as I want because static, that's a nice option if you're using it as a background here. But editing would be the same. If I want split this like this, I could go ahead and split it. We can duplicate too. So if anything I select, I could you see the shortcuts with the Control of D, but I can hit duplicate and I put the exact same thing in. So just some features there that Clipchamp make it very easy to do, and with the audio, and I'm going to go grab an audio. All those things I just showed you with video, if I drag it in I can drag the trimmed from the very beginning like so, and I grabbed so I can grab it and trim it. I can drag it around. I can use my snipped it over here where my playhead was. So all these different things that I can do to trim the audio to line up everything how I want, because I can be dragging my audio to match where I want it in the video. So that's just some basic editing tips, and you can see how easy this is done inside of Clipchamp. So I just added a couple videos in one image in here just for a short 30-second video here. What I wanted to show you is how to add text to this. Now there's a couple different ways. Look at right here. I could just go click and add text and I go right to it. It actually just gave me a shortcut to over here. I could have clicked this as well. Now I can go through and pick some of this text and change what I wanted to say. And I like how some of these have the animation in here. So if I go through and just hover over it, you get to see. So if I take this groovy one and I'm just going to drag it on, and then I drag it on, and then I can just change what it says here. So if I just click in here, it comes up here as groovy. But if I wanted to say hello, and I changed it that easy, so we have our fonts that we can change. Remember that these are going to be the upgrade here, but we can pick different ones, and really easy to change. So very easy to add that. If I go back, I'm going to close this here. I can move this around, I could size this larger. So now, if I I'm just going to bring back my play head, hit my spacebar, and it comes popping up. If I wanted to play later, I could just bring it down, so text is super easy to add to any of this. Another thing that's really easy to add, and I'm going to just go down here to transition. So I'm going to choose transitions here, and I can just drag them in between my video or images. So again, that would be a free one. If I go to beams, and I drag it across, notice I can add it. Where do I want to add it to? If I just drop it here, it's added to it, and now if I go back, and then there's a transition between them. So let's go to crossfade, drag it in between these two. So now I've added another transition, very easy to add to these videos and everything, just drag and drop them over. Another easy thing to add is the graphic. So the graphics here, I'm going to grab a free one. So let's grab this little fire. If I go ahead and click on it, I can add it to the timeline, and it will open in the timeline here. So it just takes a moment. I'm just going to close out of this here, and there it is on the timeline. I can bring it over to where I want, and I can bring it over to a different point so I could size it. All of these, when you see those handles, it just makes it so easy, it pops up right there. Do I want it there, or do I want it at the beginning? Drag it to where you want. So you have all these different frame shapes. Then they are identified as the free or the upgrades as well. So all of these, we've kind of covered these. I haven't picked anything from the music or stock video, but I showed you those ones. I want to show you some other effects that you can easily add. So what I'm going to do for now is just delete some of this here, and let's say at the very beginning of this video, I want to add a fade. So notice it just starts, but I want it to kind of fade in. What I can do is go up to fade here. So when I go to fade in, I can pick how long I want it to fade in. So if I want to go for 1 second, and then I have that fade. I can also do it at the end of every video too, so very quick to add. Sort of like a transition that I could have put in with the fade in on any of these. You could also apply this to your audio. So if I go back to my media, and I go and grab an audio and bring it into here, I could apply fade into it. So just the same thing, it will start quieter for almost a second, and then gets louder. As we're on audio, I just want to point out, you do have audio here, and you can decrease or increase the volume on it just by pulling that down. And you can, if you want it quieter, you can play around with that. So again, very easy to use. I'm just going to move this back here. So let's just talk about some of the other effects that we have on the side here below. So anytime I click of any of these, any of this media, you can see what comes up. If I go to here, I have filters. Now with the filters we can go through, and I'm going to scroll down here, and we have all these different ones. Let's get one that's more easier to see if I add it. If I hover over any of these right now, I'm on the transition. I'm just going to move my playhead so we can see what's happening. Then just like that. If I keep scrolling down, you can see the intensity level here that I can change, that I can adjust on these, so very easy. Again, we just could add these, and if I go back here, see I added that filter to that clip, so you have to select. At the clip first, I can do it to the images as well if I wanted to. But then you can see if you choose an upgrade what happens there. But you can click change the intensity very easy on this last clip over here. I'm just going to move my playhead down a bit. I just want to point out where we have our colors, and this is where we can change things from our exposure or saturation temperature. Just drag the handle which way you want, and we have the opacity here. And I'm going to come back and show you this opacity when I've worked with some layers in a moment, because I do want to show you one more thing here, and that's going to be the speed on these. So if I go to this clip here, and if I want this dog running really fast, I can go to speed and increase the speed here. And it noise getting shorter because I increased the speed and now this dog is running really quickly. If I wanted to go slower, I could go the other way and it's going to push the other ones out of the way there. It's running in slow motion, so all of these effects are just so incredibly beginner-friendly with the drag, selecting the clip and adding to them. So these other great features, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete all this stuff here, so I'm just selecting everything and I'm going to hit delete and it's gone. I'm going to go back to video and I'm going to grab this video right here that I started with before. So, if I go ahead and grab another video and place it on top, notice if I play now. It only shows the top one because that's the layers showing the top one, it's blocking everything. I'm going to show you all of these in a moment. These transform tools because they work really well but first before we do this I wanted to go back to my colors and talk about this. This is transparency, right? So if I bring this one down here to here, now you can sort of see that the top one's see-through. I can still see the bottom one, but I have two videos happening at once in this one because they changed the opacity and I can change it back or I could reset everything back to normal too. So I just wanted to point out how you could get a see-through video by changing that and using layers. Let's go ahead close this up because these are super easy to use and fun to use. So if I take a video like this, first thing I want to show you is the crop. So with crop I'm going to go ahead and crop this one right here. So if we just play it and maybe I don't want all the background right here. If I go ahead and crop it, I can bring the handles in and focus on maybe just this dog and I can bring it in from each side like so. And let's see what we have. So I hit play. Now you can see what's happening behind. So now I've cropped the top video, now you can see. Everything is not cropped. This here, if I want to fill with this entire one. So now it filled the screen, so now I can't see it behind. And now I'm just focused on that. So I'm going to go back a step. We're going to leave it here as cropped because I want to point out this next picture in picture. So picture in picture allows kind of making the same thing. So what I'm going to do is bring in another video. So I'm going to bring this one in right here and place it above. Add another layer, so this is the only one I can see right now. If I go back to this and hit picture and just click one of these, it's way up here, I can move it around. I can size it so now I have 3 different videos playing at the same time here and I can keep bringing more in. So maybe if I brought in another one and now this one is going to be the one on top. So I could go to this one again. Point out these last few options here. I can rotate this way, you can see as I go around and just rotate. I can flip horizontally or I can even flip vertically. So all these options are there with just a simple click. If I go to picture and picture again, I'll put this one over here. I'll move him over here, stretch it. Now I have 4 videos playing at once. So very cool, easy to do with all these options off transforming. I'm going to show you how you can do green screen in here very quickly. So I'm going to need to upload another video file I just downloaded from Pixabay. I'm just going to move over to that browser. So I went to Pixabay, looked in a green screen and I downloaded, I believe, a dinosaur from here. So this one right here. So I did a download. It's free to use, and I'm going to go and upload this now. So I'm just going to go into this folder. I can see it right here. I'm just going to drag it over. And it's gonna add it right here to this. It's like a 5-second little video. What I'm gonna do is we're going to just take this video right here of this here. So it's 8 seconds long. I know this is 5 seconds long, and this is a little random, but I just want to show you how it works. So if I go and take this dinosaur now and put it above it. So it takes place, it takes everything I see is in there. Here I need to remove the green and then so that dinosaur will then be the only thing left. So what I'm going to do is go to the filter. So I have this selected here. If I go to filters and I start moving down and what I'm looking for is the green screen one and it's right here. So green screen even as I hover over it. You can see it's gone, so I can change the threshold. So if you did it yourself in front of the green screen, you might have to change the threshold. I've played with this even with my green screen behind, and I just had to change it, but it came out really well. And after that I can go and adjust this in different places, so I can move this. I can make it smaller, so maybe it's not as small, a large dinosaur. It's a small one, so I'm going to go close this out of the way. If it was, you could see its screen color is green. Well, it could be green, blue. I could have other types in there as well depending on what you were using. Let's close this down, and now I have this little one. You will even make it smaller. I love working with green screen. I love showing different people how easy it is to use and how creative you can get with it. So now, if I just click, let's play it here, we have this dinosaur with the dog in front of the dog. So that's how quick we can add green screen in here. So let's say we're all done our video, we've had our transitions, we've made any adjustments. I'm going to show you how you can export this to share it out depending on what method you want. Let's say I have this little video here. I have a little bit of text. I have the green screen and I'm all done, and I want to share this out. You've gone through and you've said, I want to make a quick adjustment. You can go through, click. You can fill even with the picture, you can fix. You don't want those black screens like that. And we're all done, or we think we're all done. We go to export up top, and what does this saying? Mind the gap. Okay, I'm going to go back and fix. So what I'm going to do is go to this right here. Oh, why was this over here? So I'm just gonna go and delete it. So I like how that knows that there's this big gap in here, and they're thinking, well, this isn't quite right. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. What do I want to export it as? Well, I want to go 1080p here. If you make a GIF, if it was under 15 seconds, but I'm going to go 1080p, and it just runs through this, and it doesn't take very long. I want to point out, as this is going through, you can save or share currently to Google Drive. I could upload to YouTube, send to TikTok, save to OneDrive, save to Dropbox, all these different options. And if you're following along with the app on your Windows, everything's looking the same here. So that's what I like on this, is that it looks the same. You could just be logging into the browser if you're having any difficulties with the app. Alright, so it goes through, finishes up here. Let's watch our finished video. So it downloads. I can see it, just download it down here. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It opens up what default layer I have, and I have this little 15-second video. It has my animations, there's my dinosaur into it. Everything's looking good. It's in 1080p, so that's how simple the process of it is, creating a video, editing a video with Clipchamp. I'm just using the complete free version here online, so I wanted to kind of show that online version because it looks the same. So, as we wrap up this final video, we want to leave you with a message: keep spreading positivity, chasing your dreams, and embracing the beauty of life. Together, we can make the world a better place. See you in another video. Love and peace.